Hello, I'm Jake, and today I'm testing everybody's favourite procedurally generated space game from 2016. Let's take a little thing, see how it works. If it's worth your time, your effort, your money. So, this is No Man's Sky. Came out in 2016. And first thing to note, as we look through the various stars in the galaxy, that I am actually looking through the different stars in the galaxy. One, I've complete control of where I look, and these are real stars. You could find them on the galactic map and visit them. So, as we load up this hangar type thing, that looks like it could be a space station, is in fact a space station. And here is my starship. So, hold on, square to enter, R2 to take off, and off we go. You may notice the music's quite nice, sung by a band called 65 Days of Static. This is one of the album Music for an Infinite Universe. And much like everything else in the game, including the asteroids I've just shot, and all the planets, of which are over 18 quintillion, they are procedurally generated. If you don't know what that means, don't worry, neither do I, but it's best to understand it using an algorithm to generate terrain, structures like asteroids, like the ones I'm shooting, planets, stars, and decide what characteristics they have via an algorithm and mathematics, instead of designing it all by hand. $18 quintillion is quite a large number. If you want to know how big exactly, imagine you spent 1 second on every planet in the game with no travel time between. You could visit each of them in about 50 billion years. So, as it says there, L1 and R1 to pulse jump. That's exactly that. So I speed up to get down to the other side of the planet where it's currently daytime, because each and every planet has a day-night cycle. And while this is one of the few games I appreciate if you're getting truly dark at night, it's not that great if you want to show it in a YouTube video. As you can tell from the name, it too is procedurally generated. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to find a good landing spot, as you'll see in a moment. If there's steep terrain or bodies of water, it won't let you answer it. Just slow down and find a nice flat area of terrain and hit square. Here we are. Some ships kick you out automatically, this one doesn't. You just press square again. So you see that it has a temperature, it has a radiation level and a toxicity level. These aren't identical on any planet in the game. Protection from the elements. More on that later. That strange alien marsupial thing and that dinosaur thing are procedurally generated. Let me know in the comments if you can see a theme. So you're not alone on most of these planets. Sometimes they'll attack you, but usually they're passive. So that was my life support system being recharged. You get various resources. You can use different resources for different things. Iron is used in construction and recharging some things. Platinum is used used for creating certain types of technology. So that blue question mark is what's known as a waypoint. Various parts on planets with points of interest where you can save your game. And should I die, which I hopefully won't, that's where you'd respawn. Or rather, when I'd respawn. So I mentioned technology. Here's some. That was a save point. You can see that saved again. And Exocraft Geobase, which is the one for the Roma. Or to put it in simpler terms, assuming you have fuel in your engine, you can drive a car on an alien planet. They have a booster for extra kick speed, which helps you can go through water because it tends to slow you down quite a lot. Doing the right time, you can get some pretty decent air. Unfortunately, you don't gather resources from these cacti or whatever rocks you smash through. That's an interesting creature. To gather resources, you'd need your multi-tool and the mining laser. Smashing through them just destroys them. But at least they don't slow you down. Over there you see some ships. They're just procedurally generated with non-player characters. They do land sometimes. Occasionally you could follow them to find a trading post. It's a bit hit and miss. Maybe coming from a trading post or just from space and going straight back up. So off we go to another waypoint. This one seems to be evidence of more advanced life forms, of which there are 3 different species: the Gek, the Viking and the Korvax. All of which seem to leave their lights on. I don't know who pays for the electricity in this galaxy. Well, no one appears to be home, but sometimes you can find buildings which will have either a Gek, a Viking or a Korvax in them. That's my thermal protection. It stops me from dying when the planet gets too cold. And there's also other types for different conditions. That tiny floating beach ball is a sentinel drone. Think of them as the police of this universe. Should they catch you mining, or if you attack them, they'll come and take a look at you and start scanning. They usually leave you alone. Unless you do that repeatedly. You melee with your multi-tool just by pressing R1. And R2 to shoot either your mining laser or your bolt caster. So they attack you by shooting with bolts of plasma and then pausing. That thing above its head means it's calling for help, and more of its buddies will arrive to shoot yet more bolts of plasma at me. But they're fairly easily dispatched. I don't want them calling for even more help. That is one of my plasma grenades. Well, 2 of them. If you've got them installed, you can use them by pressing L1. Also have a jetpack to help you get around. Get more spaceships. So let's summon and get back in my spaceship. I told you there's 18 quintillion planets. Won't show you all of them, but I can show you another. So let's pulse jump over. So I'm currently playing in the Atlas Rises update, because at the time of playing, the next update hasn't come out yet. So that was photo mode. It allows you to move a camera around your spaceship and was added in the Atlas Rises update. Remember those ships we saw? In the future, or rather your present, they may in fact have players in, because No Man's Sky is finally getting multiplayer. So, unlike the previous dry planet, this appears to be a winter wonderland. Oops. I mentioned buildings. Here's one, and this has a landing point. If you choose to land your ship near, it will draw you in. And when you take off again, it doesn't use up your takeoff fuel. Let's see if we can find the entrance. Though they do rarely spawn without a door, luckily this one hasn't. Local buildings, it offers you shelter from whatever local weather conditions seem to be happening. So, not just walking around planets and floating in space, there are numerical puzzles. Solve this one. You discover new places. Let's go annoy a sentinel drone. If you don't fancy dealing with them, you can either run away or fly away. Unless you've got a 5-star wanted level, the sentinels usually leave you alone once you get to space. So these, also added in the last update, these large capital ships, some of which you can enter and serve as freighters. You can store your stuff. If you go at the right time, go for a handy respite from space pirates. Well, that's what's scanning me there, but no luck for them this time. So, this is what the inside one looks like. The large hangars, some stairs up. But who wants to take the stairs when you have a jetpack? So that's a Gek. I've flown halfway across the galaxy to be here, and he's busy checking his tweets. This is the Admiral. He's in charge of the spaceship and speaks in language of the Gek. You can learn the language as you go, and those are the words in green. If you wish, you can buy the freighter. They'll give you a place to store your stuff. You could use your right analog sticks to look at different angles of it. And compare it to the one I already have, which is better. So I think I'll turn it. Should you own a freighter, back here is where you can build your own base. But when you don't own a freighter, that door isn't opening. You're not alone in your freighter. You can buy, sell items, and buy the spaceship. that they're currently in. In fact, that's the most ugly spaceship I've ever seen. So I think I'll sell stuff to the life form instead. See, in the top left, number of units I have, that's your currency, goes up. If you're feeling brave or foolish, you can attack a freighter. Their guns are bigger than yours, unless you destroy them. No, they call the Sentinels. So I guess I have to take them down. Two types of weapon. Phase beam. And also a cannon. Such as this one. Photon cannon to be precise. They don't take long to overheat and are terrible to aim. See in the top left, my shield is pretty much, well, entirely depleted and I've lost some of my health. So I think it's time to beat a hasty retreat. Drop down and land on an alien world, and they quickly leave you alone. Give you the chance to recharge your technology. Oh, everything seems good here. Let's go. Blast off back into space and the Sentinels will no longer be around to shoot you. Which is nice. This is your galactic map. It shows you all the stars in the galaxy. But if you don't have hyperdrive installed, or any fuel in it, you won't be going anywhere fast. So here's my freighter inside the space station. And here's me failing to enter my freighter because I've angled my approach all wrong. So let's hop out of this one. Element type spaceship, that one is a fighter, it's fast, it's nimble. This one on the other hand, it's larger, bulkier, a little more sluggish movement because it's a freighter. That will have better storage capacity. Since I've had this ship a very long time, I installed a hyperdrive take me to the stars. This one, for instance. This is what it looks like when you travel to a new solar system. Sped up a little bit, but here we are. Looking at brand new ships above a brand new planet. Underneath a brand new sun. So, going down from time to effort to money. Is it worth it? First of all, yes or no? Yes. 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 I don't want to oversell it too much. It's not the greatest game I've ever played in my entire life, but it's really nice. It's really fun. It only costs around £21 on the internet if you're looking in the right place. So the amount of stuff you get in it after they've updated it a couple of times now since 2016, because it was an absolute cluster fucking shitstorm when it was released due to half the features being missing and it not being the game we were sold. I'm still not sure that it is, but it is definitely getting closer. Absolutely. So I give it 4 stars for being worth your money. As for the time it takes to play, you could do it for an hour, just ride about in space, drop down the planet, take a look at things. Or you could do it for an entire day. You could spend an entire day playing it and not get bored. And I've been playing this on and off since it came out in 2016. I'm still not done with it, haven't yeah, that makes sense. Well done, Jake. I still haven't put my controller down for the last time. So I'd say it's absolutely worth your time. I give it 4 stars on that as well. Yeah, effort. Is it worth bothering with just the sheer amount of effort it takes to play? Yes. It's not difficult in the slightest. It's actually really relaxing just to drop down on a planet after floating through space and just wander around and take in the sights. Maybe shoot an alien in the face. Or collect its poop. Because I didn't do that in the video, but that's a thing you can do. Not sure why you can feed animals to collect their poo. But the whole thing is incredibly low effort. But you don't actually need to be there in front of your screen with your controller. You can just leave it going and go make a cup of tea. Then you might get tapped by space pirates. So I give it 4 stars all round. I definitely recommend it. That concludes things. Have a look at the channel next month. I'll be testing a driving game. B-Day.